I remember it was the fall of 1987. I remember this because I had just landed a new job, a better job. I was very excited. And my friends at my old job were giving me a going away party on my last day at the old job. I remember what I was wearing. It was a long, what they call a peasant denim skirt, a paisley pink and blue shirt, and a fancy little 80s style belt that I thought made me look thin. I remember my workmates were downstairs in the office building getting ready to eat cake, and I remember he called me up to his office to say a personal goodbye. I remember what the office looked like. I remember where his desk was. I remember it was very close to where my cubicle had been, where I sat for a few years working. And I remember his personal goodbye was slamming me over his desk and sodomizing me. Now, I also remember his name. And if you asked me to right now, I could actually describe what he looked like in 1987. I remember the town he lived in and commuted to our office, and it was in Maryland. I remember his area code for his phone number. I remember his girlfriend's name. Because, yes, he had a girlfriend, but I was 22. I didn't care. From the time he became the boss in our company, in our office, I was attracted to him. I thought he was God. He was so handsome in my 22-year-old Harlequin romance and Danielle Steele reading eyes. I wanted to be his girlfriend. I wanted to have a relationship with him. But he was careful. He was careful. My first plane trip was with him. We went to a business meeting. He had promoted me in the office, which made me think too, oh, he must be attracted to me like I'm attracted to him. We're going to have a relationship. So we flew to Chicago, my first plane trip. He took me to Benihana's for dinner with other people from the corporate world. We stayed in the same hotel, separate rooms. And I thought, well, no, we're going to go back to the room and he's going to stay in my room, or he's going to invite me to his room and he's going to make love to me. That's what I thought. But he was smart. He didn't do that. He wasn't going to fuck me while I worked for him. He was waiting. And he was never going to take me to dinner that didn't get written off as a business expense. He was never going to romance me like they do in all the romance novels that 22-year-old girls in the 80s read. He had a girlfriend, a live-in girlfriend. He wasn't going to fuck that up. But he wasn't going to say no to a freebie from a cute 22-year-old who'd been oogling him for a year and a half. But it wasn't going to be on my terms. It was never going to be about me. It was going to be a quick fuck over his desk. And it was all about him. And then it was like, good luck in your new job. See you later. What was I supposed to do? Funny thing is, when we go through this testimony that Dr. Ford gave, she was 15. There's a big difference between a 15-year-old and a 22-year-old. And 31 years later, if somebody asked me to, I could take them to the building. It's no longer the same company or the same office, but the building is still there in its own way. I could take them to the building. I could show them where his office was. I could show them exactly where his desk was. I have a lot of memories. Guess it means I'm not getting as old as I think I am. Right down to what I was wearing. Interesting, isn't it? And yet all these years later, I have said this many times, I have never considered myself a victim. I'm not a victim. As I said before, everybody in the office would have testified back then if I had reported him that I wanted him bad, that I thought he was the cat's meow. I wanted to be his girlfriend. I did not want to be his sex toy. But that's what I ended up being, just another conquest for him. But it did not traumatize me. And yet people will say, well, the fact that 31 years later, you remember all these details, it must have had an effect. Of course it had an effect. But this was 1987. Things were different then. Now we're in 2018. And this is a message that I would like to send to my young viewers. And I'm even talking people in your 20s and parents who have young kids, teenagers. Don't wait. Don't let anyone do anything to you that you don't agree to and not report it. You being drunk or him being drunk is not an excuse. Yeah, you might have to admit to some uncomfortable things, some embarrassing things. Yeah, I went to a party and I drank too much. Or I got in the car with this guy. I wore my best outfit because it was a date. And we went to dinner and he bought me dinner. Guess what? It doesn't matter that he bought you dinner. That doesn't mean he bought your body. You don't owe anybody. If you're a man or a woman, you don't owe anybody sex without your consent. I did not say no. I didn't think I could. Because after all, isn't this what I had wanted for a year and a half? I didn't say no. Because I thought he was going to call me. Now I'm not his employee anymore. He's going to take me to dinner. He's going to romance me. Maybe he'll take me on another plane to another location, this time for a vacation. I never heard from the son of a bitch again. After all, he had a girlfriend in Maryland. He didn't want to get to know me. He didn't want a relationship with me. He even made sure that the way that he had sex with me would make sure that I couldn't come back on him later and claim to be pregnant with his kid. And he probably knew too that I couldn't say anything. Because everybody knew that I had the hots for him. He would just say, she's been flirting with me for a year and a half. Now it turns out he got his own justice in a way. I got justice because he ended up being actually a criminal. And he got in trouble for that. Not for sexual assault or anything, but he had his own set of issues. And I didn't get any joy out of that. I don't care. I really didn't care. And yet now I'm hearing this testimony, and I heard Dr. Ford, and yes, she's got some memory lapses. She doesn't know where the house was. You know, she doesn't know how she got to the party. That does give me pause. But the other thing that gives me pause is that Judge Kavanaugh has lied about stupid things, things that he should have been truthful about, even though they were embarrassing. Because, see, if I had had to testify against the person who I have now come to recognize and accept sexually assaulted me, I would have had to admit, yes, we went to Chicago. Yes, I tried to get him to come into my hotel room. I wanted to have sex with him. I wanted to be his girlfriend. I did not want to be sodomized by him over his office desk the last day that I was working at the office. That I didn't want. But again, this was 1987. But I would have been truthful, as I have always been truthful when I relate this story on these shows, that I was sending him signals. I want to be with you. A 15-year-old Dr. Ford probably was not sending those signals to Judge Kavanaugh. And here's the problem. As I told you the other day, I believe Judge Kavanaugh believes he did not sexually assault Dr. Ford. But I've been Googling a little bit, and I think a lot of people have been Googling because now it's like the #1 Google thing. I Googled boofing, which, by the way, has nothing to do with gas or passing gas. You might get gas after you boof, but it has nothing to do with passing gas. And rather than admit that when he was young and he was stupid and they used to play drinking games, boofing was something they did, and it wasn't smart, but he did it, and he should have been honest about it, because the fact that Judge Kavanaugh participated in boofing in high school and college would not eliminate him from being a Supreme Court justice. At least not for me, it wouldn't. It is a drinking game. You can Google it for yourself. I know young people will be watching this, but boofing is something you do with alcohol in a very strange and, to me, disgusting way, but to each his own. The Devil's Triangle, even I got this one. I mean, I had no clue what boofing was. Again, I was a very naive person, really. Even I got that the Devil's Triangle is not and never will be a card game like quarters. The Devil's Triangle is not. However, as my husband and a good friend of ours, I asked them, so what's the Devil's Triangle? After I had Googled it. And they both said, down in Bermuda, that place where planes and ships disappeared for no reason. And lo and behold, the Bermuda Triangle is referred to as Satan's Triangle or the Devil's Triangle. Judge Kavanaugh could have said that, and he would have actually been truthful. But I promise you this, in Judge Kavanaugh's yearbook, the Devil's Triangle was not referring to a trip they all took to Bermuda. The Devil's Triangle is a threesome. It is 2 guys and 1 girl. But again, embarrassing, yes. Not illegal if all 3 people are consenting. If they say, yeah, I want to do this. It is not illegal to have a threesome. But he had to lie about it. And he lied about it. He could have lied about it, that it meant the Bermuda Triangle. But no, it's a card game. No, Judge Kavanaugh, it's not a card game. You lied. And here's the problem. Even if you believe he never met Dr. Ford, which I believe is possible, I'm trying to give this guy the benefit of the doubt, even though I don't like him. I don't like his politics. I don't like his religious beliefs. But I'm not going to throw him under the bus for boofing and a Devil's Triangle in high school and college. But he lied under oath. He is going to be a Supreme Court justice. You don't lie under oath about anything. And if he's willing to lie about the stupid small shit, how can we believe him on the sexual assault stuff? If you serve on a jury in a criminal trial, the judge will instruct you. If you find any witness to have lied in any part of that witness's testimony, you can throw their whole testimony out and not believe anything they said, even if you think part of what they were saying was true. But if they're willing to lie to you about one thing under oath, then you can assume they might have lied about the whole kit and caboodle. That's one you haven't heard in a while. Google it. Kit and caboodle. Something my mom used to say. So, while I don't believe all accusers, I believe the face in my mirror. I know now that, yes, I can say that I was raped. Just because I wasn't beaten to a pulp, just because I didn't have to go to the hospital, just because It took like 10 minutes. Then I went back downstairs and ate cake and pretended like nothing happened. Said goodbye to everybody and started my new job. It did happen. And I can't say it didn't. And I shouldn't say it didn't. But again, that doesn't mean that every accuser, male or female, is telling the truth. I believe Dr. Ford is telling her truth. She believes this happened to her. I don't believe she is lying. I believe she has, like I said before, people around her who are not giving her the best advice, who have their own agendas. And I do believe that Judge Kavanaugh has lied under oath. And that should be a problem for everyone. If a judge, he is now a judge, is trying to become a Supreme Court justice for the rest of his life, we need to know that he is an honest person. He could have easily said, I was really stupid. I was rich. I went to a fancy school. We did a lot of stupid things. We felt entitled. We were wrong, but we did them. Yes, this is what boofing was. Yes, this is what the Devil's Triangle meant. I'm not proud of it, but I never assaulted a woman in my life. He could have said that, and I probably would have said, you know what? I believe him. But he lied. He lied. And that's one thing that I don't do. I don't lie. And if someone lies to me about any little thing, I won't trust anything else they ever tell me. That's the way I roll. It's the way we all should roll. Because there are people out there, my friends, who lie like you and I brush our teeth. It's easy for them. They're believable. Once you catch someone like that in a lie, you know you can never trust them again. We need to trust those who serve on our United States Supreme Court. We need to trust that they will listen to all the cases brought before them with an open mind. And that when they write their decisions, they will write with truth and with honor for our Constitution and for the rule of law. I don't think Judge Kavanaugh, if it comes out, which it's proven, he lied about his drinking, about the Devil's Triangle, about boofing. He lied under oath with penalty of perjury, as he brought up often. Remember his friend, he said under penalty of perjury that he wasn't there. Well, now, Your Honor, Judge Kavanaugh, you have lied under penalty of perjury about something stupid you did when you were a teenager. One last lesson, please, please, please. This very day, thousands of men and women all over this country are going to be assaulted. They're going to be raped, sexually assaulted, sexually abused in some way, and they won't say a word. Please don't wait. The problem with these cases is it's 30 years later. It's 25 years later. If you see something, if you see someone you know, or even someone you don't being assaulted, you say something. You call 911. If a friend comes to you and says, this happened to me last night, but I was on a date. No, you say something. Do something. Report it. If you were drunk, if you were wearing a mini skirt and a tube top, and you were raped, report it. It doesn't matter, damn it. But report it now, when everything's fresh in your mind. Locations, times, dates. That's when it's important, when it can be investigated to the full extent of the law, and the law can take action. Don't wait 30 years. Because I promise you, Judge Kavanaugh is never going to go on trial for sexual assault, even if it is found that he did it. So don't let any of your friends go 30 years as an assault victim or a rape victim, male or female. Don't let it happen to you. It doesn't have to. This is 2018, not 1987. People will listen, and people will do something. Political Paula. out.